Hello and welcome everyone to the Easy Mod Invitational. I'm Gennaro, and we're going to be joined in today's match by GN.
That's me.
In commentary. Of course, our match is going to be Gambler versus YokesPai, and looks like we're getting our warm-ups picked just now. So GN, how are you feeling about this match?
Well, this is a very high-level match. It should prove interesting, because Gambler, as we know, was sight reading the entire tournament up to now. But this is the only time he's gonna have to actually play the pool twice, or have two matches in the same pool. So it will be interesting to see if he's gonna pick the same maps as he did earlier today.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see the possible change in Gambler's game plan going into these matches. I'm assuming we're just going to have the same gambling as we always do, but since Gambler has actually played some of the maps now, we're going to probably see a very different performance.
We might, or he might just roll the picks again.
So I believe this is YokesPai's warm-up. I have a hunch.
Yeah, it looks kinda unplayable. It's worth mentioning that Gambler seems to be doing a lot better than Yokes. He had a very solid combo at the beginning of the map.
Yeah, seems so. That was a very short warm-up, so we're going to be getting into Gambler's warm-up, I believe. I'm just assuming that it is YokesPai who picked the Kirby-related map. And Gambler's warm-up would be next then. It will definitely be interesting to see just how Gambler's performances will change, because I don't think the maps that we're gonna see are gonna be entirely different to the maps we saw in the earlier match between you and Gambler. So there's definitely gonna be maps that Gambler has played before. It's gonna be interesting to compare the results of those two.
Yep, he's now played 9 out of 18 maps in the pool.
Yeah, and I mean, that's half the maps. So if you have half the maps practiced in the pool, that's basically the entire pool. Because all you need to do is win half the maps, and then just the tiebreakers left. Of course, that entirely depends on Gambler's RNG. Because I'm just assuming that Gambler is going to be rolling for the picks, like last time. And seems like the tournament client not loading the map. So I'm gonna restart. Very cringe.
This seems to be YokesPai's warm-up, actually, and not the Kirby one from earlier, judging by Gambler's reaction in chat.
That would actually be interesting. Gambler picks the Kirby warm-up over YokesPai.
Oh. He might have been considering who he was going up against.
Having some technical difficulties with the tournament client right now. Let's just get that sorted real quick. Alright, it looks like we are finally back into the match. This time, the warm sub loaded. Not sure if the match is, the warm-up is already over or not, but if it's not, we'll be getting into it. Seems like it might already be over. Yep, it's already over, so. Ended up skipping the warm-up, and looks like Gambler ended up winning the rolls. So, we got to skip those as well, unfortunately, but Gambler is going to be banning map 16. That is Lullaby of Deserted Hell, the AR0. Same ban as last time. And then YokesPai is going to be banning Sayonara Superstar. Fairly expected bans overall. Or is there something that is unexpected?
I'm not sure if I would expect YokesPai to ban the double tap stream map. Maybe he's not feeling too comfortable with this double tapping. It is a bit harder to cheese than something like AJ Queenbee, which we saw in an earlier group. But,
yeah, for sure, for sure.
And it seems like Gambler is rolling for his picks again.
And this is a map that we did not see last time, and sight reading this one is a little bit of a different story compared to the other maps. I think you might have something to say, as you have quite a lot of play count on this map.
Yeah, this map is extremely well structured. I wouldn't say it's too hard to sight read, because it's got a fair bit of complicated rhythms and stuff. But all the jumps and stuff, like the patterns at the start of the map, back and forth, and everything, I think Gambler will do quite well on such a pick.
I see. Yeah, the patterns in this map definitely follow some form of consistent logic. So if you're able to pick up on that, I definitely agree that this is very much sight readable. Of course, if it is your first time hearing the song, you might not pick up on those, so let's just see how Gambler does.
That is possible. He might also not be too comfortable with the AR that is approaching 0 at this point, with the addition of halftime.
That is true, as Gambler did end up actually banning the AR0 pick, but the pick seems to have worked out, as YokesPai is the first to break here.
It's still very early in the map, which is above 2000 combo.
This is the longest map in the pool in terms of length. Of course, there is halftime, so that to take into account. But it looks like Gambler actually has FC'd the intro, which is one of the more difficult parts to sight read. There is, of course, the rhythm changes with the sliders, the circle double tap section. That might be a tough one as well. We saw, of course, Ekoro in his match versus Easy Champ actually FC that section. I'm not expecting the same from these two players, I have to say.
The double section can be quite easily double tapped. The section that comes right after it. We're seeing a miss from Gambler here. Several misses actually.
Ooh, and there comes the note lock on Gambler. Those he had one miss and he was on the right track, but didn't really know where to adjust with the note lock, and gets a little bit of a save there.
YokesPai is now building up a very solid combo. This part is quite tricky though.
Actually almost broke there. He had a bit of a late note. You can definitely see in the UR. Very close to breaking, but he is now in the lead.
Easy halftime gives you a lot of time to recover from mistakes, which I'm sure YokesPai is certainly a player that is capable of taking advantage that.
For sure. I saw, but have some difficult sections coming up right now. This is the sort of double tap section we were talking about. Ooh, and Gambler, there's the break!
Oh.
That is a very difficult section to sight read, and Gambler is doing the sight reading. It's pretty tough. YokesPai actually not opting to double tap this section, despite that being, in terms of consistency, quite the optimal move. But it is pretty slow, so it can, if you're comfortable doing it normally, definitely also a viable option.
It's viable, but also quite a lot easier than if you were to play this map at full speed, where double tapping is practically required.
For sure. Here we have the slider, kick slider jumps. Probably one of the most difficult parts of the map. Maybe not on halftime, but both players are actually seeing it.
Oh, that's very nice.
That is very nicely done. Of course, YokesPai, definitely more important for him as he gets to keep this combo, and since we have these long reverse slider sections here that follow a pretty consistent rhythm, YokesPai is just going to be building up this combo, and I don't really see Gambler coming back from this one. Unless... Oh, yeah, okay.
Ah.
There it is.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's worth mentioning that the... Oh yeah, the long double tap section is coming in.
Yeah.
Gambler seems to be having trouble.
Yeah, Gambler's actually going for the double tap along with the cursor dance, and it's actually paying off. He's actually comboing it. Very nice. Remember to double tap, kids. It helps.
Healthy in small amounts. Both players have seen the tricky section after the double tap, which is probably the hardest patterns in the map. Oh, Gambler with the misread.
Read there. Goes on. Goes in the wrong order there, but Gambler already seems to have given up. After seeing YokesPai's earlier combo, Gambler knows that it's impossible to come back here. And of course, since it is a long map, it can be frustrating to just wait for it to end. I can definitely sympathize with Gambler's cursor dancing here.
Yep. The ending of this map is actually fairly easy.
Yeah, it's pretty much just some of the back and forth jumps, but it's pretty much just fairly simple to read jumps. In terms of sight reading, the ending is definitely much easier.
Certainly an interesting choice for the pool.
Yeah, I was thinking that this map was actually quite hard for this pool, which it definitely is. Although players do seem to be doing quite well on it. Somewhat happy about picking it. I would have picked this map later in the tournament without the halftime if I had not picked it here. So, as this is a fairly popular map to play with easy at high level.
Speaking as the current #1 on the boards of that, I'm glad you didn't pick it.
Yeah, it's despite it being popular, it's quite the challenge, especially in a tournament. It's also quite it's very different to play with halftime. It's a very different kind of map. I think it's fun to explore the skill set with this. But anyway, YokesPai is going to be taking the first point against Gambler here with a very nice combo, actually comboing a lot of the hard parts of the map, if not all of them. He had a silly break at the start and then a slider break in the slow part. Otherwise, pretty much FC. Very interesting.
YokesPai also opting to roll for his pick.
Very interesting choice. Also surprising coming from YokesPai. He seems like the more serious type of tournament player, especially against a formidable opponent like Gambler, but maybe YokesPai simply feels confident and wants to match Gambler's rolls.
Maybe. we will be seeing Paradise Ghost as the next map, which is a fairly standard, quite easy stream pick. Gambler, of course, FC'd this against me in the earlier match.
And of course, since that was sight read, it could probably just mean that he'll have an easier time FCing it again. YokesPai, not really the player known for being good at streams, so even if YokesPai were to FC, I wouldn't give YokesPai's AC much of a fighting chance against Gamblers. So YokesPai is pretty much just going to have to hope that Gambler breaks. Or the unlucky roll.
Perhaps. He seems to be holding SS at this point. Oh, right as I say that, he breaks.
He might have realized that he was holding the SS and the nerves got to him, as that wasn't particularly the most difficult part. Yeah, YokesPai just blew the lead that he had with that beautiful SS, and Gambler's just going to take it right back. And
YokesPai seems to be struggling with repeat sliders on this.
Seems so. The break here. I sees that Gambler still FCing and might be regretting the fact that he went for the gamble there. The pick. As this is definitely a map that I personally would say is Gambler favored.
At this point, it certainly is. His accuracy is looking very good right now. Which is to be expected.
In the earlier match, where he played against you, I believe he got 9 100s, so... Ooh,
oh, yeah.
Breaks right at the end, but I do believe he still beat his earlier AC. So
yeah, by quite a bit.
Very impressive showing from Gambler here. 1 100. Incredible. Gambler now tying up the score. Sort of unsurprisingly, as a very weird choice from YokesPai to go for it.
Then again, it wasn't actually his choice. But there are
to go for the roll, rather.
Yeah.
And looks like it is time for the Touhou vs. Fortnite dance compilation.
I'm sure somebody would call this the best song in the pool.
Yeah, someone. It is a real banger, I gotta say. Just throwing that out there.
That's certainly a valid opinion.
Truly a testament as to, as long as you just slap Touhou onto anything, it sounds good. But as this is a very short map, even early break like that from YokesPai is going to be quite detrimental. YokesPai actually misreading a stream there, and he's going to be breaking again. This is not looking too good.
Gambler is looking very solid in this pick. He's certainly used to higher BPMs.
Definitely seems like so. Both players actually do end up breaking there, so if YokesPai continues this combo and Gambler were to break sometime soon, this could still be doable for YokesPai. Gambler has a pretty solid lead right now. And there's the break from YokesPai. That's pretty much going to be it.
Yeah.
Gambler once again takes a point.
Very nice 1x miss from him.
It was very early as well. YokesPai deciding to opt for the rolls once again, and here we have a new map. It is Aaron Ripples. This is a sort of the consistency map in the pool. It's fairly long and fairly standard. It has some weird sliders and some finger control, but
it's got a fairly technical section nearing the 2/3 of the way through the map.
Yes, it does.
Otherwise, it is fairly standard and should be easy to read.
It's a fairly simple sight read, this one. Some of the patterns don't really follow like natural flow, and they sort of go in weird directions. So if Gambler isn't paying attention, there could be some mistakes coming through, but YokesPai there with an early break won't matter in the long run, as this is a 5-minute song. Of course, the intro here is much slower than pretty much the rest of the map. We're gonna have some jump sections coming on right now.
The jumps are fairly big for a consistency pick, but the BPM is not actually that high. So should be comfortable for both of these players. Both of them sporting a very high accuracy at this point.
Yeah, it seems like YokesPai only has that 100 from the slider break early on. YokesPai's combo is around 20 to 30 points lower.
Players dealing quite nicely with the streams, but Gambler has dropped his SS at this point.
And both players are dealing, as you said, really nicely with these streams, and seems like they don't have any issues with the slider sections here either. Most players usually would drop some slider ends, but both of these players seem to be very comfortable in maps like these, and that is pretty much the sort of known skill set for both of these players. Gambler especially being known for seeing the sort of difficult Camellia maps easy. Such. And YokesPai, of course, known for that as well. Not surprising that we have both players sporting a absolutely ridiculous accuracy. Here comes that section you were talking about.
Yeah, this is the hardest part of the map.
A lot of potential for slider breaks here.
Very tricky streams in this part, and also slider jumps. That should be it, actually. Got some cut streams, some jumps. Both players have seen the hardest part of the map.
Yeah, that
with the combo and accuracy at advantage at this point.
Yeah, that very early break from YokesPai seems to just unexpectedly being something that ends up mattering quite a lot. As we're pretty much getting into the outro sections where the song pretty much returns to normal. It's kind of unbelievable that that early slider break from YokesPai ended up mattering this much. As we're pretty much just in the slow sections once again, and Gambler is just gonna FC the map. YokesPai with slightly better act with the 1x slider break right in the beginning. That is incredibly unfortunate for YokesPai, and well, he isn't gonna end up missing right at the end. So is Gambler, but
very strong performance still from both of these.
for sure.
A very close pick as well.
Yeah, this could have definitely gone either way. Gambler is gonna take it and get a nice 3-1 lead. For YokesPai.
It's a fairly comfortable position to be in when you're both rolling for picks. To be 2 points up against your opponent. Of course, we are seeing another roll.
This match could go just any way, as you don't have to consider the sort of attributes of whose pick it is. It's just pretty much up to luck as who gets the better pick. And this pick, I'd say, is in YokesPai's favor, as even though Gamblers did get a pretty nice sight read in his earlier match, I'm fairly certain that YokesPai is way more comfortable on this map than Gambler.
Yeah, the difficulty in this map actually spikes quite a bit on certain patterns. So it will come down to who can hold a combo through one of those sections, or even several.
The rhythm changes in this map are really brutal. There's a lot of sections where just the time signature changes and the BPM changes at the same time, and you just end up slider breaking randomly. Then there's of course the ridiculously difficult stacked jumps.
Oh yes.
And
Gambler is probably not too happy with this roll.
Yeah, for sure. He is still pretty much sight reading, unless he ended up practicing this after the match. Of course, it is not a sight read, as I did play it earlier. Gambler actually with a very nice save there. Misreads, but then...
That seems to be the strategy.
Planning through the jumps, that is a... It is a strategy on a map like this.
Taking advantage of the very low OD that easy mod provides.
Gambler already with a very nice performance. Ooh, and I'm not sure if that was Bancho or YokesPai actually missing.
I'm seeing misses from both of these players at this point.
Yeah, at this point where we have the stack jumps.
Neither player seems to have memorized this.
Gambler actually in the previous match sight read FC'd this section. Ridiculous. But looks like cannot do it again.
YokesPai with the combo advantage at this point is taking the lead.
Seems like the accuracy actually ended up mattering since both players ended up dropping the combo around the same time, but since YokesPai had much more points from his accuracy lead in that combo, even though Gambler had a higher max combo, probably might have just gotten more score out of that as well. YokesPai with a misread there, and Gambler's pretty much going to take this lead right back. Oh, but right before he takes it, 20k away, YokesPai barely managed to hold on to the lead.
This is insanely close. Very nice play from Gambler, though, who seems to have learned from his first play through the map.
Yeah, this is really incredible to see, as I'm assuming this is Gambler's second play on the map. Just the amount of improvement from the previous. Ridiculous. Definitely unlucky for YokesPai to be meeting the powered up, practice the pool Gambler.
And despite that, he still takes the point on this map.
He still does, as but that is a very scary position to be in, regardless. He just did barely take it. But here's another new map. Answer is near. Answer is near, sort of being the more standard, easy hidden in the pool. It's aim and sort of more of a honeycomb map than the others, so it's going to be a lot easier to read the jumps than a map like Kimojin Oniwa. Depends on the player, of course. Players tend to have different types of reading.
Possibly, but I don't expect any of these players to have problems reading the map. This is fairly simple, but it is very aim intensive, which is very difficult for...
Yeah, easy HD and those jumps, you definitely have to know where to focus.
Yeah.
That's pretty much going to be the crux on this map. Is
both of these players are very good with this sort of thing, so you should be seeing some very nice performances.
For sure. A fun fact about this map, or this song rather, the reason the background image is from a completely seemingly unrelated anime is because there is, for some reason, a very popular AMV of this song that is Sword Art Online themed. And that's why the two ranked maps of this song have both Sword Art Online backgrounds, despite the song not at all being related to the anime. Fun facts. As we get through the first chorus there, both players came out of it with an SS, but YokesPai with a bit of a misread there on some timing, and he's gonna hit some 50s. Both players still with an FC as we get into the low section.
Gambler also drops his SS right before we head into the second harder section.
Second chorus coming right up, and we have some more linear jumps coming in here. Some very high spacing. We're gonna see breaks. We should be seeing them right about now. But no, both players actually FCing through the second chorus. As we get into the break, they see each other's scores now. They're both FCing.
Gambler with a slight accuracy advantage. They could flip over at any moment.
Yeah, this is score v1. The later 100s do end up mattering more. So even if Gambler were to just get 100 and still have the accuracy lead, YokesPai would actually get the score. guitar solo section here, and oh, Gambler
Oh.
misreads the timing. There was a sort of 1-1 break in the jumps, and Gambler ended up reading that section as a 1-2, and I don't think he mis-aimed. He actually just hit the note way before the hit window, and thus ended up breaking. And since YokesPai FC, this is pretty much in the bag for YokesPai.
Does not seem like YokesPai sight read this map. But YokesPai does end up missing. It does not matter at this point.
Yeah, that actually ended up just being the tournament client. YokesPai did not actually miss.
Oh, that's right.
Tournament client does that sometimes.
In that case, this is a very strong performance from YokesPai.
Accuracy as well, really nice. There's some, I mean, this is a fairly simple map to get good accuracy on, but there are some tricky sections you might want to cheese.
Yokes spinning as hard as he can to eke out the extra points. Probably aiming for a high leaderboard position. Still, very nice play from him.
Great performance from YokesPai, actually tying up the score now. So Gambler was in a 3-1 lead, but YokesPai manages to tie it up in 3.
Alright, so are we seeing the Kirby mix? Easy hidden double time pick at this point? We might be. This is a fairly short map. Can be decided at a moment's notice. Gambler did struggle with reading some of the patterns in his first run today.
Yeah, the back and forth triples in the sort of midsection definitely caught Gambler off guard. Let's see if he's able to read those now. They are in the earlier half of the map, at around 200 or so combo. YokesPai does have some early breaks here, but gotta really watch out for that pattern because it is what Gambler ended up breaking on. Here they come. Alright, Gambler seems to have them all in order this time.
This is the easier section of the map. So now this map is about how long you can hold the combo for as we move into the harder strings at the end.
There's having a nice combo here, but of course Gambler is in the lead. There is still enough combo in the end that if Gambler were to break and YokesPai were to FC the rest, the lead would still go to YokesPai. But the ending, of course, is much more difficult than the rest of the map. Ooh, Gambler almost ends up slider breaking there. Go for a bit of a save.
It's gonna be hard to come back from this for YokesPai. Who misses on the first triangle string? Gambler, both players miss on the second one.
Both players missing on the Christmas tree there. And Gambler is going to be taking that point.
It's actually fairly typical for a Kirby mix map to have one pattern that is significantly harder than the rest of the map. This map in particular has two, because it copies the first Christmas tree.
But we're going to be moving on to another easy double time pick. It's going to be Yudachi Kimi to Kakurega by Yuhei Satellite. Map is by Daylicare. It is a fairly standard easy double time pick. Definitely something that you could farm for some of the performance points. This is telling that it's a fairly simple read.
It's it's got a star rating of 3.36, 6.36 actually. So a lot of those performance points will come from jumps, which are a big part of this map.
This map has a couple of those sections right before like the courses, where you have these long jump sections, like right now. So this is where breaks are mostly going to happen. Both players are doing just fine. Gambler overstreamed there a bit, dropping some accuracy, but I did have some accuracy drops earlier as we get into the first course, and YokesPai actually ends up breaking. Of course, it is the first course, and that is one of the more difficult sections of the map. Gambler is going to be taking the lead here.
Gambler is fairly comfortable on maps like this, and I would expect him to be quite consistent. So it's getting hard for YokesPai to come back something like this.
Sure, especially since this is sort of one of the easier side reads in the pool. Even if Gambler has not practiced this, there isn't really any tricky patterns. And YokesPai with another miss there. We're already through halfway the map. It's looking very bad for YokesPai. Gambler keeps on holding to that combo. One of the more tricky sections in the map, but the one that's going to be breaking is YokesPai. That pretty much seals it. Just a matter of if Gambler FCs or not. Gambler's going to be having a 5-3 lead over YokesPai, having the match point. Of course, YokesPai would only need to win 2 more maps. It's going to be interesting to see if he's going to continue with the rolls, or is he going to switch back. I'm assuming he will just continue, as that is what he has been doing so far.
Very nice FC from Gambler.
Yeah, that is actually a really nice FC. It's
fairly strong performance.
Yeah, for sure. Sort of just used to sight read FCs from Gambler. Doesn't even seem surprising, but that was actually another sight read FC coming in from Gambler. Very impressive. As the next map is Swing It. This is it's a fairly standard map. However, there's a lot of rhythm changes. So sight reading it might be a little rough, especially since I don't believe Gambler has played this map before. I would actually give YokesPai the advantage here on this map. Of course, it is fairly simple map, and this seems like a skill set Gambler's very good at. So I could definitely see Gambler getting a very good score on this sight read.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like any map in this pool, except for maybe Utsukushi Kodoku, is outside of Gambler's reading range, so to speak.
And Gambler has definitely proven that. Any other map like that would probably be Lullaby of Deserted Hell, but that of course was banned by Gambler. And YokesPai with a very unfortunate early break. A bit scared that we're going to see a repeat of Ripples.
Gambler has a strong accuracy advantage at this point. He seems to be handling this map better than YokesPai. Might not have practiced this. As I say that, he drops some hundreds, whereas YokesPai does not. So, I suppose anything could happen. Still.
And there are some tricky rhythm changes, and Gambler did end up getting some late hits on those tricky sections just now. So any one of those could end up proving fatal for Gambler. I'm gonna have another one in just a moment.
Just past the halfway point of the map now.
We have the hard part of the map coming up right now after this section here, and when YokesPai is gonna end up... Oh, never mind, it's the turning line.
Oh. Big jumps come through. Things are starting to look scary for YokesPai at this point.
Yeah, that was the most difficult part of the map just now, and Gambler did end up FCing it, and YokesPai with that early break is definitely feeling it. Gambler actually almost getting a slider break. You can see in the UR bar, hit a note really, really late. That could have been YokesPai's chance, but Gambler ends up holding on.
Of course, like with the ripples, we saw both players breaking at the very end. If YokesPai can hold on while Gambler misses, it might not be decided quite yet. We're heading into the very end of the map. He might not have time to recover this.
Yeah, unlike ripples, this break was much later. 30 combos.
Gambler with the FC of this map. And he's gonna take the match 6 points to 3.
Very, very solid performance by Gambler. Even when sight reading, he is such a formidable opponent. That's gonna be that. I feel like a lot of this match was decided by both players deciding to roll their picks. I feel like YokesPai had gone for the picks himself. This could have been a very different story, but YokesPai respects Gambler's weird habit, and since they both end up gambling, it's just the Gambler show here.
And the master gambler takes it all.
Indeed. But that shall be that. YokesPai will be eliminated from the tournament. He will be getting a 9th place, as Gambler will be moving on to face the winner of Easy Champ and Lolzep. So that shall be that. Thank you very much for joining me, Gian.
It's my pleasure.
Hope you enjoyed the match as much as our viewers did.
I did. It's always amazing to see good these players perform at the high level. And these players delivered like crazy.
For sure. But that's going to be that for the stream. Thank you so much everyone for watching. Thank you Specimen for reffing, and thank you Gambler and YokesPai for playing. That'll be that. Thanks for watching, and we'll be seeing you next week. This was the last match to be streamed for this weekend.
Nah, I'm good.